I wasn't so much it wasn't an assumption of what's in his head. I think it was just more of a watching film and seeing how he reacts. And when I slow the film down, it seems like he reacts so quickly versus him reading the play that it almost tends, and it happens so often that it almost, to me, it seems like that's what happens. And that's why I bring it up so often, because it seems to me that that's what he's doing. And
And
when
you
I,
could very well be right. I mean, I I don't watch as much film as I used to, guys. I wish I did. It's just, I'm busy editing and writing and whatnot. But
I'm a film geek, man. I am. I am. I'm a film geek. I'm kind of. I got a problem with it. I watch film over and over and over again, especially when we're having struggles in certain areas, and I want to see what it is. And Caleb will tell you, I spent the better part of 14 years with the Chiefs, kind of like on the field, and with some friends of mine that played back in the day, and I got to listen to a lot of coaches and a lot of players and a lot of lingo that I didn't understand coming from a baseball background, and I learned it, and then to watch it and see it unfold. And I, by no means do I know everything or even close to even thinking I know everything about football, because I don't. Things have changed so much. I'm way older than both of you guys. I'm probably older than both of you guys put together. But I don't know how old you are, but I know I'm twice the age of Caleb, so if not a little more. But it's one of those things that, when you watch it so many times and you see it happen, it's similar to like what's been going on with Patrick. When they threw him into this pocket passer situation, I got trashed on Twitter. I did. I mentioned it numerous times on the show, and especially after week 2. And I want your take on this. And I know Caleb's take on it, and I had some criticism about it, and then actually afterwards everybody kind of agreed. But they wanted him to learn pocket presence, which who wouldn't want to learn pocket presence as a quarterback in this league? But it seemed to me after week 2 that that's all he was doing. It was 90+% of the time he stood in the pocket, he moved forward, he moved backwards, he got sacked, he got hit, he got pressured. And it just continued on week after week after week. And I've seen him get hit more this year than I think he's been hit all last year. I mean, if you really look at it, it kind of seems that way anyway. I mean, it's probably not true, but it looks that way. And his passes have been off. He's never thrown balls in the dirt like he's thrown. He's never thrown this type of, this many interceptions. And especially never lost in September. He's never thrown an interception in September. He's not one, but let's just talk about how many he threw in September. And then it bled on to the month of October. And it never really ended until the second half of the Washington game. And from what I understand, things were said in the locker room, and I know that to be true. He came out with a different aspect and a different mindset. He played absolutely the way he played his prior 3 seasons, and the entire game changed. And not just the game, but everybody's mentality changed. From offense to defense to special teams, everybody's mentality changed, including the way he played the game. There was no more balls in the dirt. There was no more crazy mistakes. There was I mean, that mistake, when he threw that ball, that trash interception in the air, that was totally on him, because he was trying way too hard to do something that he shouldn't have had to do, because he was standing in the pocket, waiting too long, not moving around like he normally moves to get the hell out of the way. And that's just not his game. It's never been his game. It's not what has made him Patrick Mahomes. Okay. It's not what has earned him the face of the league. And we've seen it for, 5.5 weeks, what it's done to his game, the media talk and everything else that's happened. Yeah. A lot of those interceptions were mistakes on the receivers, and a lot of them were his fault. I mean, but I attribute a lot of that to him not playing the style of football he's used to, or he's played in the past. What are your takes on that?
I can see that. At the same time, I think there's a balance between all of it, right? The pocket passing and him being able to kind of do what he wants. But I think the key thing here is that they started making the change kind of, this last week. the switch from Niang to Remmers, because they were recognizing that he wasn't comfortable. Specifically, when he has the tendency to kind of move to his right when he gets pressured.
Correct.
To move to the right side there, and that's Niang's side. And I think that having Remmers in there gives him better confidence that he can do that and then make a play. But I think you're seeing that now, kind of, that the coaching staff's adjusting, making the decision, hey, like, what are some of the things that we can do to make sure that Pat's more comfortable in there? So I think we're going to see that. And I mean, it should have been that, obviously, from the get-go, but you got to kind of adjust as the season goes. You never know what to expect. He could have been fine and comfortable starting out in that first week, and then things change the next couple of weeks. You have to adjust. But I do think it's interesting with the interceptions. I mean, I was just writing, I think 3 of them you can basically attribute to receivers. I mean, hit them in the hands, they popped it up.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them, that last one, the most recent one, the last game with Tyreek, he fell getting out of his break and he was late, getting his hands on the ball, popped it up, defender. I mean, that's just bad luck, right? Like some of these you attribute to bad luck. And right now, what's he sitting at? Like 6 interceptions? I think
8.
7, 8.
Oh no, is it 8?
It's an 8. Yeah, he's at 8.
I thought it was 7, but maybe it is 8.
Well, whatever, you take away, those 3 and it's a little bit more of a palatable number, but then, obviously he's got I call them frustration throws, right?
Yeah.
One where he was targeting Kelsey. I don't remember what game it was, but he just hurled the thing. I think it was towards the end of the half or something. And, a defender catches it. And then, the one last week where it was just awful. Like, he shouldn't have thrown the ball, should have lived to fight another down. I think it was a first down play too, which, like, you have to have the sense and know that, like, hey, I can take a stack here, right?
Yeah.
Or you have the ability to throw it away if you can. You can't just toss it up the way he did. But I like to consider them frustration throws because
that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he wants to be able to push the ball down the field and do these things. And teams have figured out, hey, we're going to play this 2 deep shell and take it away and, force them to dink and dunk the ball down the field. And that is obviously causing frustration. The performance of the defense is causing frustration, him thinking and feeling the pressure, like, hey, I've got to score every time I touch the ball because my defense isn't going to come through. I think after this past week, that aspect of it's probably going to be alleviated because now he's like, wait, I have an example. Like, I know these guys can come through for me. I just got to believe in them. And I think, the guy is kind of rallying around Mahomes there in the locker room, telling him, hey, you be you. Like, we trust you. We believe in you. You're fucking Patrick Mahomes,
exactly.
Like that type of thing. I think it did give him a bit of a reset where he was like, yeah, I am Patrick Mahomes, right? I can go out there and do these things. And I think I wrote in my morning after column that, that belief that these guys believing in each other is what brought him back in this last game and brought him back, maybe in the past before too. Like, they're down and out in every single one of those playoff games in the Super Bowl run. They could have easily have given up or started pointing fingers doing that, but they always believed in each other. Yeah. And that helped them, kind of push through those, various, deficits that they faced. And
I know something was said in the locker room too from Pat himself, out of frustration in that halftime, in that Washington game, and that was an eye opener for the coaching staff as well. And I know that to be true. And I think they didn't expect that to come out of him, but when he did it, the coaching staff didn't have a whole lot to say. And in fact, I don't think they said anything from what I understand. And the wide receivers, the offensive line, and pretty much everyone else just said, fuck yeah, that's what I want to hear. We believe in you. You go be you, and let's just do this thing. And when they came back out, they were back to who they used to be.
It looked a lot better at the end of the day. And that was the one thing I've noticed.
Yeah. And again, I don't think they expected that from him. But again, he's not that guy. He's just not the guy to come out and really get to the frustration point that he was at. And I think it took a while for him because he believes in his coaches and he believes in what they tell him. And he does, for the most part, he follows the chain and he's not that guy. He's not I'm not going to slam Aaron Rodgers, but he's not an Aaron Rodgers and wants to tell everybody what to do and how to do it and when to do it. And, everything else. He wants to, he knows people know more than he does about the game of football. He's just good at it.
Right.
So he's great at it. So he wants to believe in that, but in the same aspect, he knows what his abilities are. And he knows that this wasn't working for him. What I had preached during this was that if you're going to make him or want him to learn the pocket presence, then ease him into it. Gradually ease him into it, especially with a brand new offensive line. You got to kind of ease him into it. You just don't throw a guy into something that he's never really done and make him stay there.
Right.
Just say, here, stay right here, move forward, move backwards, but don't do anything else. Just stay right here. That just doesn't work for a guy like him. What do you think, Caleb?
The thing is that Patrick Mahomes is not Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. He has some speed. We've seen him pull off runs. I mean, Charles has seen him have the run against the Titans. We've all seen that where he has some speed, so he can do different things. If you let him play his game and let him move around, he is most deadly when he's out of the pocket. That is when Mahomes is most deadly because you saw in the game last week, he made those across the body throws that were across the field. Tyreek Hill does his thing, makes the defender juke. The bench goes crazy. I mean, Mahomes has he has that wow factor that lets it does not matter if it's 3rd and 20, I can get us 16 to 18 yards and we can get to a 4th and 2 if need be. So there's different things that can happen. It just shows you overall that this team is built for him. And I think one thing we kind of noticed is that whenever they were kind of doing that offensive style where he just stays in the pocket, they weren't used to it. No. I've never seen Mahomes throw so many more balls in the dirt than what we've seen the first 5 weeks of the season. I was very confused. And Charles, I know you haven't got to watch a lot of film, but maybe you saw that. But I never seen him really throw balls in the dirt. I've seen him maybe, a screen here doesn't work or an overthrow. That's kind of the extent or a drop pass. But to see just balls in the dirt, it was like kind of a wow. Like they got to figure something out. But when you're looking over everything as a whole, it just kind of shows that this team, I think, kind of has found their stride. And what's going to end up happening is they're going to play against a tough team like the Titans. They're going to have to stop Derrick Henry. Like Charles said, they're going to have to stop the play action pass. And if you can't do that, it's going to be a long, long day. But Charles, I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts on this. We have seen several free agents get cut, so several players get cut by their teams, and Brett Veach has not been able to sign them. What are your thoughts? Do you think that Veach should bring some more defensive help, or do you think maybe they should wait for the deadline? Just kind of what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I know for a fact that they're looking. I mean, they're exploring. They signed the former draft pick from the Raiders. I think he's a 2018 4th round pick. I'm forgetting his name off the top.
I forgot his name too.
Shalik Calhoun, right?
Yes.
So yes. I think they knew they weren't going to land merciless, and I think that's why they went out and got Calhoun on the practice squad. From my understanding, it looks like they want like a situational guy who they can have and come in and have him as maybe a stand-up rusher as opposed to a hand in the dirt guy. So I think that's the role that they're kind of envisioning for Calhoun to possibly, they've already elevated Damone Harris twice from the practice squad. So unless he's a COVID elevation now, they can't promote him from the practice squad. So they have to kind of bring other guys in, potentially to come in and if they have injuries or issues there later in the season. So I know they're still looking there. They're still looking for more defensive help. I know that they have been rumored as interested in, potential trade for Marlon Mack, the running back with the Indianapolis Colts. I personally don't think that one's going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't expect that one to happen. I think it was one of those things where, Brett Veach saw the injury to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, didn't quite know what the timeline was, and simply reached out to his buddy over there in Indy and Chris Ballard and was like, hey, what's it going to take to get this guy? And I don't think it got past anything more than that. I don't think it's going to be anything more than that, given that we know Clyde is expected back after the Giants game. However, I do know that they're sniffing around some different positions on the defensive side of the ball. Yes. With Hitchens, with his injury right now. Yep. I've heard that they're looking to